is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Wild day, tale of two markets, but as unreliable as stocks could be on a day-to-day basis, there's only one thing that keeps me going, one thing that is extra super reliable. It's all of you guys right here hanging out, chilling, day trading, the A squad, the A team. Let's go. We got Chuck in the house. We got Albert. Good morning to Andy, Bill, Brian Reppel. Good morning, Corey, Eric. We got Greg, G, Jill. Good morning. We got Joe, Lauren, Lucian, Martina B. I feel like there's a freestyle artist called Martina B. I'm not sure. Pete, good morning. We got Ron in the house. Ron, hope you feeling younger than ever after your birthday. Not too hungover, just make it through the day. We got Tony, good morning. We got Wayne, good morning. Richard, Jet in YouTube land. Scott in YouTube land, good morning. All the lurkers in the back of YouTube, just hanging out, watching. Love you guys. Make sure you guys will hit the like, subscribe buttons in YouTube land. That helps out somebody. I don't know who, Google probably. Ron says I am. BEA, beautiful. Pete says good morning. Tony says good morning. Whew. Feeling the vibes. All right, so let's start with the almighty SPY. We've got gap down. We got to close below the 618 of at least this little pivot. So I was hoping we get some kind of a pullback. At this point, this is a retest gap. Qs are looking a little bit stronger in a weird way. We'll get to the Qs next, but this is a gap down. So I do expect a retest, especially at some type of resistance. So we'll also get into the Fed, everything that kind of happened. We'll unfold all that, but this is a little bit of a retest spot. I do expect this one to probably fade. And then now using the 618 as some kind of resistance. So some kind of a bounce into about 469.10 would make a lot of sense to me. I don't know where we close for the day, but I do think this is a very, very fadeable gap. So yesterday, let's break this down a little bit further. We got the 1 hour. Let's see if we go to small time frame. Let's go to 3 minute. I think that should show what in the world was happening yesterday a little bit clearer. Although, oh, there we go. Is this it? Yep, May 3rd. So this is right around the time where the Fed came out. It was, in my opinion, bearish. What I said yesterday of what I thought the Fed was going to happen, how the market was going to react, it did just that. It did take a little longer than before, than I thought it was going to, but we got the 25-point basis hike. We ran up on that. Again, the market kind of expected it. And then you have Jerome Powell in this time. I think the market wants a clear decision, and he figured out a way to make it very unclear, where you could almost read the narrative however you wanted to. If you're like, yeah, okay, we're this is the last time we're pausing for sure. That keyword means we're pausing, or it didn't. It kind of played out where both people could actually be right because he said both things. However, unless he came across and said, "Yeah, we are definitely pausing. We're looking for a pause next month." That to me was the only actual bullish scenario we could get, and he did not say that. In fact, during one of, I think this pump right here, which I was able to short and made solid baggages on. But during this little pump right here, he was actually coming out saying there is no pause next. Like there's no guarantee. Well, no, he didn't say there's no pause. He said there's no reversal. There's no rate cut. That's not even what they're talking about. So during that time, I'm like, okay, so no rate cut. He's wishy-washy on the pause, and it's data dependent. So those are the key pieces of information. The market obviously did not like it. We did sell off. It's a pretty big, massive sell-off. And if we do a little bit of I got 12 fibs up here already. Let me see if I can take some of these off. Let's see if we could add a new one on just from the highs. of yesterday into the lows. The 618 takes us to about 410.50, and that 409 zone that we're first originally looking for comes in right at the 50% retracement. So a little bit of a fade, and I think we chop around between 409.47 and this 410.51 zone. So those are the two zones I'd be looking for today for possible reversal. Let's see. Scott says he just doesn't want to be responsible for crashing the markets. I mean, I don't think he wants that. Yeah, I don't think he wants that on his resume. He's getting old. He don't need another job after this. He gets paid good. But yeah, he doesn't. He really doesn't want the market to do anything, honestly. And everybody was expecting a kind of a pause going into this one, and I was like, I don't know if we get it. It doesn't make sense that he would do that. Only because and the reason they're expecting it is because the next month we have dot plot come out. So that's where all of the Fed secretly put their estimates as to where they think the terminal rate is going to be, which right now is between 5 and 5.25. And then that's where we're at now. I think we're at like 5.08 or something. Right. But obviously they only vote on whole quarters. So 5 to 5.25. So we're already there. So we've hit the terminal rate. So if he comes out and he's saying, okay, yeah, we're definitely we're definitely probably increasing. We're not ready. That means the terminal rate is wrong. And that dot plot next time could increase. So that's something that we got to watch for June when dot plot comes out. Qs is just hanging in there. So a little bit of a smaller gap down, nothing too crazy there. Again, Qs are a little bit stronger today, and it's a little bit mixed bag there, but we do have some earnings. I believe Apple is after hours tonight, but Apple is gapping down into AAPL. Apple is gapping down this morning. Again, a little bit of tonight, right? Yep, tonight. May the 4th be with you, Apple. All right. We've got retest gap. This looks probably fadeable to the higher side, but keep in mind we do have earnings tonight. So unless you're prepared to hold it overnight, just be aware that is coming out. And sometimes on trading days of earning, it could get a little bit of wonkiness. We've seen, and this has been the story for earnings season. We've been running up into earnings. Most of the last couple quarters that we've had, we've sold into earnings. So this one is a little bit different. This one's a little bit different. Where we're kind of already pricing in good earnings. And unless they come and crush it, we're not really moving too much. So probably a decent gap to sell some calls on, sell some puts, strangle it. Potentially, but for day trade basis, I think we hold here. I don't see us. The one other target, if we do break lower, be 163.74. So we'll have to see what happens kind of in this range. Otherwise, we'll probably be trapped in between the high end 166.95, something like that. But that would be technically a retest gap. You guys got RCL. RCL, nice little gap up. Technically a gap and go, but we've run into it. It's okay. It is a really nice gap for anybody holding it. They beat on earnings. Is that it? Like I said, I think rotations into entertainment, experience entertainment. So anything where you go on a cruise ship, how do you get to a cruise ship? You probably got to fly there. So airlines, where do you stay after you fly somewhere? Probably Airbnb, some kind of hotel, go to Disney. Any of those type of things, how do you pay for everything? Just put it on the credit card. So Visa, American Express, MasterCard, all of those companies probably start to see some kind of benefit from this industry. But yeah, relatively good gap up. It is kind of massive. It's kind of massive, and we do have some kind of resistance probably up at 74.34. I can't really play this gap for me. And it's not a bad gap. but I can't play it for me. I think this one should fade down, but I would like to fade it a little bit higher. So I would like to see RCL run a little bit more and then play it down, even though it is a gap and go. We did run up into the gap and go. So not really trapping too many bears on this. And then maybe we get down to like 70-21. So I'm a little concerned about the ranges. Otherwise, it is a nice gap. I would definitely keep it also on the list. See if we get a pullback in a future date down to this almost retest of 67.83. And then that would be your spot to kind of look to buy it up for maybe a swing trade. Shop caught a ride on SpaceX rocket this morning. Yep. So they had some earnings come out. Looks like no, their earnings did not come out. I think they have news, if I'm not mistaken. There was a somebody was buying something from them. Oh, Shopify cuts 20% of workforce. Just go all in. We fired everyone. It's just the CEO running it now. And then, and then they sold the logistics arm to Flexport. So I don't exactly know what selling the logistics arms means for Shopify long term. But yes, cutting workforce, that will show up positively on a balance sheet in the near future. So that's starting to get priced in. That's a really, really nice gap. Longer term, I mean, it's not really a great thing. But again, when you cut 20% of the workforce, you're typically cutting the fat. Immediate targets would probably be 57.85. Not sure if we got their pre-market or not. But yeah, we'll throw shop a little bit higher on the list. I don't think when he says I missed yesterday's sell-off, we'll continue today. Be cautious. I don't think we drop as much as we did yesterday. I'm looking actually to probably try to fade things higher today. LMND. Lemonade, which has just been a big bag of doggy doo-doo for a long time. This is getting a decent gap up into really, really good resistance. This is also a retest gap, and I think it does just that. So I would be looking to short this one if you want to play lemonade. Milk lemonade. Yeah, that's into a decent resistance. So this one probably does fade lower if you want to short something. I could see that one. Jack says, good morning. Good morning, Jack. Let's see. Shaq Forlorn. I haven't seen Shake Shagging forever. Man. Decent gap up, actually. Yeah, that looked like on the verge of buckle up to okay, we're good again. We have had some type of range in the zone. So again, it is a little bit, even with this gap, still a little bit range bound, but yeah, I like the bullishness on this one. I think we did trap a decent amount of people from yesterday. Really nice gap. Would like to see this thing open slightly higher, just a tad. Anywhere above probably 56.48 would be tremendous. But I'm going to put this one pretty high on the list too. It is one of my favorites. Although I haven't traded in a while, I have traded it before. And it does move decently, especially with some decent news on it. All right, let's get this one up here. Put it somewhere in there. Snow was the other one I was looking at too. So Snow has a decent gap. I've been buying some calls with about 2 months out. Just on a, it's not showing. I don't know, which is confusing because I'm not showing the TTM squeeze here, but in a Thinkorswim it does show the TTM squeeze, although not perfect. But that is a decent gap up on Snow. It was a little bit higher pre-market. So I'll be watching that if I could take some day trades. Typically what I like to do is buy some calls and then day trade it till it becomes free. So I'm almost there, but not quite. Not quite. But I've been watching it. That's a decent gap too, I think, on Snow. Just it is into a little bit of resistance. So that one could fade. I think Z might be my favorite gap of the day, says Lauren. Okay. The Zillow Group. Real estate. Yeah, that's a cute little gap. Man, if we could get above this candle, that would be great. It's watch the level of 43.82. Pretty strong close at a decent moving average. 43.85 is going to be my immediate can we break it type sentiment. And then we'll probably have 44.22. And then if that one breaks, that will take us to about 45.04. But that is a good little gap. I think we're dealing with one little moving average here. So let's put Z on the list. We'll see if anything good comes out of this one. Does look like a little sneaky higher double bottom with gap and go. Probably up there is one of my favorites as well. All right, let's see what we missed. W is gapping. They're probably gapping off Shopify. Oh, they had earnings. Surprise beat 33% to the upside. Surprise revenue 1.34% to the higher side. All right, so they have some positive earnings. Again, into that slight little resistance, but yeah, anywhere under $36 for a longer term basis, I like it. So that's not a bad location if you're going to try Wayfair. Again, it's had its journey. I mean, this thing was trading massively up here in the zone, and somewhere right around this $35 range is a decent spot where you should get some buying coming in. Some kind of air brakes should be applied around the $35 range, but longer term support, that's all holding. So if you're going to try it, I like it much better, at least anywhere under $36 than $259. And I don't know when we get back there. I don't know if Wayfair gets back to $300 over again, but definitely overvalued at that point. LLY. Eli Lilly. So let's see. It's the trade we were trying to take yesterday. Oh, we tried to set this one up pre-market, I think. Interesting. So yeah, very strong close. Eli Lilly, small little gap down, but again, still in the higher range. I would still actually look for this trade, to be honest. 423.60. That's about 50% retracement of yesterday's candle, and then you still have your stop at kind of the low of the day. So I would be interested in almost playing that. Wait for that almost 50% retrace and then move. But yeah, that's a very, very strong break on this thing on a daily chart. So having some follow through, continued bullishness, but just I wouldn't buy it at the high of yesterday. There's now a whole bunch of people. Everybody is profitable. So as you start making new highs, it's going to get a little tougher where people are going to try to reel back, especially, I mean, we're on the verge of a recession. Although Jay Powell says, I don't really see a recession. But then his next statement is, and if we do, I hope it's a mild one. I'm hoping it's a mild one. So you're considering it. It's been floating around your brain. Juan Pablo says, "Good morning, Dan. What's the indicator you have below the volume?" This is TTM. TTM. Yep. All right, Peloton. Lyra's in YouTube land. What's up, Lyra? I miss Lyra. All right, we got Peloton. That is. I'm surprised it's not at zero yet, to be honest. But yeah, that's a horrific gap down. Horrific gap down. See if we could get a little bit of buying in this thing. We have been selling into it. I also would not be surprised if this thing just opens and just drowns. 31 cents miss. So they missed it by 64%. Yikes. Hey, it did surprise on the revenue. But yeah, see if you could get a little bit higher on this thing. This looks like death, though. Honestly, you do have a little bit of potential support, $6.96. So that's about 70 cents ish. I don't know how this one would fade higher. I'm trying to figure it out. Trying to make a case where like that's a really great support, and I would love to own Peloton shares there, but I don't. Don't want to do that. Man, this is a big gap. If it wasn't for this little double bottom, then this would have plenty of room. But I would be concerned about that double bottom. Therefore, I'm gonna have to buy this thing higher if it moves there. And I'm not sure how this one works out at open because we are definitely gapping through some key pivots. Anybody on that last massive kind of bull run, they are all trapped. Anybody that did decide to buy it, I don't think anybody that did buy it in this small little zone of 1, 2, 3, 4 green candles, I don't think they got to feel comfortable. They were up pretty decent. If they didn't sell, they're not feeling too good. So watch that little support. You might see some buyers say, "Hey, it worked last time. Let's do it again." But I don't know. I think this thing is just, I think it's rough. Wendy says Nvidia. This says not again. No, when Wendy, she only has Nvidia in the broker. That's it. So we'll take a look at Nvidia, which made us just sit there and wait all day. Some of you guys got out small profit. I got out small loss. I was just like, I was hoping we could get to the Fed, and I was like, man, I just don't want this thing to jump up. That's why I was a little slower moving my stops yesterday. I was like, if we could just make it to Jerome and survive that first pop, I think we're good. But yeah, just inside day. So nothing too crazy right now. We're still in this high wave. It's a little bit of indecision. I don't think decision's been made yet. However, where we closed yesterday is below that big, massive green candle. So worst case, even though this is indecision, where do we go from here? Anybody in that big breakout day is trapped at this point. And you do have some resistance, aka also maybe support, depending on where we actually open in 6 minutes. But yeah, well, you know what? We'll check AMD, see if AMD has potential continuation. AMD, it does. It's got one little support on AMD. Otherwise, AMD probably still fades. I think we can ride out. That's an extremely weak close on AMD. So I'd be looking at 79.44 would be a target on AMD. That could give NVIDIA a little extra pressure, potentially. Shorting NVIDIA has been a horrible decision. Yeah. We'll lose 1,000 times trying to short NVIDIA, but that one time it works, that's going to be the best 1.2 Rs ever. Mm-hmm. Jacob says, missed my target on NVIDIA yesterday by 3 cents and went straight to stop loss. Yeah, it's been a beast. It has. They're going to need probably death and destruction on earnings, and then that will collapse. But until that point, it's going to be a little bit range bound. Lyra says, taking it easy. Miss you too. We gotta get on a call one of these days, Lyra. All right. What happened to Shop? They sold their logistics division on Shop. So they're going to have some extra revenue, and then they fired 20% of people. Just so happens it was all the logistics team. We probably don't need you guys anymore. So don't expect logistics from Shopify anymore. That's done. But really good gap. Probably close to one of my favorites. I would say if I had to, let's see what this thing is pre-market. And this thing is high up there. This thing is up there. If we had to set a trade on this thing, which we could go for the breakout. I'm terrified of it, but we are still above the VPOC, at least from pre-market. Man, it's just tough. That's why it's I don't know. I don't know. It is quite the move though. I do like this gap a lot. So if we want to try to be patient, probably somewhere around 51.48 would be good. 50.35 would give us that 618. So we could try to wait for a pullback. And I think I have to try that. But we'll see how this thing opens. I'm not going to say anything pre-market on it. Because if this thing does get running, we could make probably a stop somewhere around $53 even if we take a break from this point. It's still $3 to the high side. So it's a tough setup. It's very, very tough. But I like the gap. I want to look bullish on it. I just gotta figure out how. Datadog, yeah, Datadog's been looking like not great. Today looks different though. Okay. Datadog's gonna wake up a little. Bullish engulfing candle at some bottom lows. We are into a little bit of resistance, and that's also a retest. So this is probably fadeable. I'll probably look to go short on this one. Stop maybe somewhere around 71.67. But we'll see how this thing wants to play out. Again, very unique market. I mean, SPY definitely looks a little bit to the weaker side. Q's still weak, but individual names are moving. What about Coinbase? Nope. I guess people still think crypto's a thing. All right, we got Square. Little inside day yesterday. Maybe we get some continuation. All those moving averages are going to stunt the growth a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of hanging out for now. It's nothing great there. Where's Apple pre-market? AAPL. Yep. So this is a decent gap down. I love the fact that we're gapping below this one. Keep in mind, earnings are tonight, but this is technically a retest gap, and we are at a little bit of support. So I'd prefer to go bullish on Apple if I could, but it's not the most comfortable feeling in the world. So I might avoid trading Apple, but I would, if I had to flip a coin with only two sides of the coin being heads, and heads was it fades higher, I'd probably win. I think this one probably comes in for some kind of retest, and maybe again, there's a lot of bulls in this thing. Pounding that one through. So we'll see. Not a lot of gaps where I'm like, this is the one for sure. We'll have to see. But we got 14 seconds left. Appreciate everybody in YouTube land joining us each and every day. Make sure you guys hit the little heart button if they have one on YouTube, or thumbs up at worst case. Otherwise, subscribe. Check out reallifetrading.com. We do have full educational classes you could take 100% off discount. It's freemium today. It's freemium. We got the bell ringing Apple, small little red candle. Probably throw that to the 1 minute, take the break. That's probably how I would play that one. But you guys are incredible, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow.